as reported by the Press Information Bureau, New Delhi. Shri Prakash Javadekar asked states to impose and enforce strict laws to curb illegal sand mining. On National Forest Martyrs Day, the Environment Ministry paid tribute to forest personnel who laid their life in line of duty. On the occasion of 15th National Forest Martyrs Day, Minister of Environment, Forests and Climate Changes Prakash Javadekar remembered and paid tribute to the martyrs who lost their life while protecting the valuable flora, fauna and natural resources from forest fires, smugglers and mafias. Expressing deep anguish about a forest staff who was killed by sandalwood smugglers, Shri Javadekar stated that amendments shall be made in regulation so that sandalwood can be cultivated more widely. Union Minister also paid tribute to all forest martyrs who lost their lives fighting forest fires and due to wildlife attacks by tigers, elephants and single-horned rhino. Certificates were issued in remembrance of the forest personnel who laid their lives while performing their duty in the year 2019-20. Giving a stern warning to the sand mafias, the Union Minister stated that the situation will be reviewed and those found not abiding shall be punished. The Union Minister stated that despite the new sustainable sand mining rules and regulations being passed, many states and regions are not abiding by the rules. Forest Home Guard Keval Singh was mowed down by a tractor when he, along with his colleague, tried to stop suspected members of a mining mafia inside the Sariskar Tiger Reserves in Alwar. For further details, Meha from Class 10 will join shortly.
The minister appealed to the state government to take the issues of sand mining mafia seriously and impose the strict laws to bring an end to the practice. He appeals that the sustainable sand mining must be practiced so as to prevent the depletion of natural resources from riverbed. In order to prevent the riverbeds from dying completely, sustainable and mining must be practiced and killing of foresters or revenue staff working towards the initiatives of sustainable sands mining is completely unacceptable and that steps will be taken to make sure the offence are punished. The impressive and extensive biodiversity of India is guarded by a dedicated workforce of forest officers and staff who relentlessly work towards the protection and improvement of this irreplaceable wealth. Over the years, the department has lost its forest guardians while protecting the flora and faunal wealth of nature and also in human-wildlife conflicts. It was in the recognition of exemplary valor and sacrifices made by the forest personnel in various parts of the country for the protection of our environment. The Forest and Wildlife, the Ministry of Environment, the Forest and Climate Change Government of India had declared 11th September as the National Forest Martyrs Day. The date September 11 was chosen as National Forest Martyrs Day due to its historical significance. On this day in 1730, over 360 people of Bishnoi tribe, led by Amrita Devi, objected to the felling of trees and, due to their protest to save the trees, were called Keshrali. Rajasthan, on order of the king, a foundation stone of the memorial pillar was laid on 3rd October 2012 at memorial site near Prandis Road, FRI, Dehradun. A forester memorial has also been raised in Forest Research Institute campus, Dehradun, to commemorate the sacrifices made by all those foresters who have laid down their lives in protecting their forest and biodiversity of our country. Environment Ministry with Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA aided project. The capacity development for forest management and training of personnel in 13 states has been instrumental in bringing overall qualitative and quantitative improvement for the frontline staff of state government. JICA has also indicated the consent for the second phase. For further strengthening, the ministry is also working on a SOP to support frontline and their family members. That's it for now from Meha Diju, Class 10 SPS, handing over to Rishikesh from 8th Standard.
This is Rishikesh Mohan from Sainik Public School, throwing light on a prominent environmentalist, Sundarlal Bahuguna, along with Aisha from class 9th. Sundarlal Bahuguna was an Indian environmentalist and Chipko movement leader. The idea of Chipko movement was suggested by his wife. He fought for the preservation of forests in the Himalayas. First as a member of Chipko movement in the 1970s and later spearheaded the anti-Tehri Dam movement from the 1980s to early 2004. He was one of the early environmentalists of India, and later he and others associated with the Chipko movement and started taking up wider environmental issues, such as being opposed to large dams. On September 8, 1983, Pandurang Hedge, an environmental activist from Karnataka, started the Apiko movement to protest against felling of trees, monoculture, and deforestation in the Western Ghats, deriving inspiration from Sundarlal Bahuguna and the Chipko movement. Bahuguna had visited the region in 1979 to help in the campaign against the proposed Betty hydroelectric project. After the Epico movement started, Bahuguna and Pandurang Hedge walked across many parts of South India promoting conservation of ecology, especially the protection of the Western Ghats, a biodiversity hotspot. This and the broader Save the Western Ghats movement led to a moratorium of green felling across the region in 1989. While best known as an environmental activist and as a passionate defender of the Himalayan people and India's rivers, Bahuguna also worked to improve plight of the hill people, especially working women, and was associated with temperance movement and earlier on with struggles against caste discrimination. Bahuguna passed away on May 21, 2021 due to COVID-19 complications. Shortly after, he was commemorated by Amul in one of its advertisements. That's it for now. My friend Aisha will join you with the details of Chipko movement.
Chipko movement. The Chipko movement started in the early 1970s from spontaneous actions by villagers to save trees from being cut down by forest contractors. In Hindi, Chipko literally means hug. And the movement got its name since people trying to save trees started hugging and holding onto trees when lumbermen tried to fell those. One of Sundarlal Bahuguna's notable contribution to the Chipko movement and to environmentalism in general was his creation of the Chipko slogan, "Ecology is permanent economy." Sundarlal Bahuguna helped bring the movement to prominence through a 5,000 kilometers Trans-Himalaya march undertaken from 1981 to 1983. Traveling from village to village, gathered support for the movement. He had an appointment with the then Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and that meeting is credited with resulting in Gandhi's subsequent 15-year ban on cutting of green trees in 1980. He was also closely associated with Gaura Devi, one of the pioneers of the movement. Bahuguna played a major role in the anti-Tehri Dam protests for decades. He used satyagraha methods and repeatedly went on hunger strikes at the bank of Bhagirathi as a mark of his protest. In 1995, he called off a 45-day-long fast following an assurance from the then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao of the appointment of a review committee on the ecological impacts of the dam. Thereafter, he went on another long fast which lasted for 74 days at Gandhi Samadhi, Rajghat, during the tenure of Prime Minister H.D. Deve Gowda, who gave personal undertaking of project review. However, despite a court case which ran in the Supreme Court for over a decade, work resumed at the Tehri Dam in 2001, after which he was arrested on 24 April 2001. I'm Aisha Majid from Class 9, SPS. You'll be connected with Gauri from 8th Standard with more news feeds. So, stay tuned.
The Huns, India, 12 September 2018. Bahadurpura. Every year, the Forest Martyrs Day is observed on September 11 to pay homage to all the brave forest staff who laid down their life in protecting forest and wealth and wildlife in the state of Telangana. Minister for Forest and Environment, Jogu Ramanna, took salute from the chalk parade commander. Ramanna said that on the day in the year 1730, about 360 people of Bishnoi community laid down their life to protect Kejri trees of the Kejrali village in Rajasthan. The government of Telangana is implementing Telangana Ka Haridharam as one of its flagship programs and the only of its kind in the country in order to achieve a national goal of 33% of geographical area under tree cover in the state. This year, government has already allocated a planned budget of 130 crores to the department to achieve the objective. As part of various afforestation programs under Telangana Ka Haridharam, an area of 4,940 hectares of black plantation and 1,490 kilometers of avenue has been taken up during this year. And so far, about 34 crore seedlings have been planted with the participation of people, says Jogu Ramanna. That's all for now. I'm Gauri Spinger of Class 8 signing off. Stay back as Shiga of Class 8 will join you soon.